Hello students, welcome back to our economics class. Today we are going to discuss a topic from unit number 10. Alright, basic statistics to economics, right? This is our 10th unit and we are going to discuss a very small topic, that is, what are the characteristics of good average. It is very important as a 5 marks. So what is the question over here? What are the characteristics of good average? What are the characteristics of good average? Now before starting to this concept, we'll first know what is the meaning of average. Let me give you one small example. Imagine that there are 60 girls and 40 boys in a class. How many students are there? 60 girls and 40 boys. And I'm asking you, can you tell me what is the average of this class? So how can you tell the answer? You can tell the answer by using a small formula. What you need to do here is whatever the number of items are there, you need to add everything. Divided by how many numbers are there, you need to write that. For example, I said in a class there are 60 girls and 40 boys. So 60 plus 40, right? 60 plus 40 divided by. Now divided by what should I do? How many items are there here? 1 and 2. So divided by 2. 60 plus 40 is 100. 100 divided by 2. 2 ones are 2 fives are 10 and 0. So what is the average of the class in which there are 60 girls and 40 boys? The average of the class is 50. Alright, this is how we find the average. This is clear? So now we have understood what is the meaning of average. Now what is our question? What are the characteristics of a good average? Means, how should I say that the average is good? Based on what conditions should I say? So let us learn. There are 6 characteristics written on the board. Let us go with the first one. A good average is dependent on all observations. What is the first point? A good average is dependent on all observation. Is it true or not? Yes. Without observing, can you tell me the answer? I said there are 60 girls and 40 boys. So you have started observing. There are 60 and 40. 60 plus 40 divided by 2. Before adding, what you have done? You have observed. Alright, after observing, you have got the average. So can I now say that observation is dependent upon good average? Yes. So our first characteristic is a good average is dependent on all observations. Coming to the second one, it should be rigid. It should be rigid and clearly defined. The point here is it should be rigid and clearly defined. Rigid means constant. It should not be changing. For example, now the example which I gave you, that there are 60 girls and 40 boys. If I keep on changing the number, no girls, I said some 52 girls and some 42 boys. If I keep on changing the number, can you get an exact good average? No. Why? Because I am changing the numbers over here. So that should not be there. It should be fixed. It should not change. So being fixed and not change is nothing but rigid. So what is the second characteristics of good average? That it should be rigid and clearly defined. Clearly defined means it should not make any confusion. It should not create any confusion in meaning and description. In meaning and description means whatever, like before buying some product, the description will be written down, right? These things, it is having this many carbohydrates, these many vitamins, etc. It is all clearly defined. If you are purchasing a 5 rupees chips packet, backside description will be there, right? There you will be understanding, right, it is having this much of fat, this much of carbohydrates. It is clearly defined. In the same way, a good average should be clearly defined and it should also be rigid. 2 points are done. Let us go to the third one. It should be easy to calculate. It should be very easy to calculate. It should not be complicated. Alright, when you are asked to do an average, that should be in a very easy manner. That should be very easy for us to calculate. Second, it should be very simple to understand. Alright, it should be very simple to understand. Like what I am saying you is very simple. If I want, I can also confuse you. But should I do like that? No, I should not confuse you. So, while calculating the average, you should be having an average which should be very easy to calculate and also very simple to understand. Done? Let us go to the fourth one. It should not be affected. It should not be affected with the variations in sampling. Variation means what? Changes. Variations means changes. Alright, it should not be affected with any changes in sampling. Means whatever the samples you have been given. For example, I have given you 60 girls and 40 boys, right? This is one of the sample which I gave. If I change this 60 girls and 40 boys to 70 girls and 30 boys, then that is change, right? Change means what? Variation. So what good average is saying that it should not be affected to any variations, any changes in the sampling. Clear? How many points are done? 4 points. Let us see the fifth one. It should be based on all observations. It should be based on all observation. This is absolutely right. Without observing, you cannot give one final answer. Am I right or not? After observing a certain thing, you are able to answer. In the same way, after observing everything, then only you can take out an average. So now the point here becomes, it is based on all observations. It should be capable of further algebraic treatment. It should be capable of further algebraic treatment. What is the meaning of the term algebraic? Means it is a mathematical expression that is consisting of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So all these mathematical things will come under algebra. Fine. So what is it saying here? It should be capable of further algebraic treatment. Means if, for example, if I've given you a problem to solve. Imagine that there are 5 steps in that problem. The first step you have done wrong. Then what will happen? Will you get a right answer? No. All the remaining 4 steps which you are doing, that will also be wrong. That will be affected. So with first step wrong, the final answer will also be wrong. The same way here in statistics, the first step will be average, and that should be capable of, that should have the capacity to be used in further algebraic treatment. If it is right, then you can use it. If it is wrong, then you cannot use it. Clear? Very, very simple topic. Let us finally recall it once again. What are the characteristics of a good average? First point, good average is dependent on all observations. Second point, it should be rigid and clearly defined. That means there should not be any confusion in the meaning and description. Third point, it should be very easy to calculate and very simple enough to understand. Then it should not be affected. It should not be affected with the variations in sampling. Then last, fifth point, it should be based on all observations. Then it should be capable of further algebraic treatment. The topic is completed. Please read it again and again. Write it for 3 to 4 times with seeing and without seeing, and do daily basis revision and practice work so that you could score good marks in your exam. See you in the next class with some more interesting topics. Till that, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep practicing economics every day.